Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. So it has been quite a while since I've done an update on the budget D90 build. This is a Austar Chinese chassis. It's a cheap SCX-102 knockoff. I do have a playlist about this if you're interested in seeing the process. So yeah, I've done a ton of stuff since my last video. I'm going to endeavour to tell you all what I did. I do have some footage of the work. I just took bits and pieces of video. Really, I just plodded away trying to get this thing done rather than worrying about making videos. So, the body. I have a list here of all the things that I have done to it, so I'm going to try and go through the list as quickly as possible. So the body, I weathered the body, as you can see. I was really nervous about doing that because I really liked the green paintwork. It looked really nice, but it was too clean, so I just used black acrylic paint. Put some on a cloth. I didn't even water it down. I just put some on a cloth and rubbed it in and then wiped it off again. And the result is really nice. Really happy with how that turned out. Like I said, I was very nervous about it, but it came out well. So the wheels, I put these cheap Chinese beadlocks on. They're aluminium, all apart from this outer ring, which is plastic with all the screws in it. But everything else is aluminium, so that gives it a bit more weight down low. But my tire foams are far too soft. I bought these tires to go with the beadlocks, and I just used the foams that came with it, but they're too soft for the weight. If you can see how flat they are on the bottom. Yeah, they're just far too soft, so as I turn, the tires are just fold in underneath as you turn. So I'm looking at getting some dual stage Proline inserts to give me a bit more sidewall support. But apart from that, really happy with the wheels. I have rigged up lights. I bought a cheap, pretty much the cheapest kit I could get on eBay. It doesn't connect to the ESC, so there's no brake lights or anything. I can just turn them on and have various flashing sequences. So there was lights, came with the front bumper. This is another cheap Chinese front bumper which has provisions for a winch, which I don't have a winch in it yet. So there's two spotlights and there's two small lights actually set into the bumper itself. So if I turn the truck on, I have four lights come on in the bumper, but no other lights. So I have a small button just tucked up under the body here on the driver's side. Press that and it brings the lights on for the body. So I have two headlights, an interior light and two red lights at the back. That's it. There's no indicators, no brake lights. So the roof rack was another cheap Chinese knockoff. It actually came from China. It actually arrived in under 2 weeks. It took, so I'm guessing at that stage they were flying stuff over from China to try and catch up with the backlog, but it did actually come from China. But it was all squashed and bent because it just wrapped it up in bubble wrap and a plastic bag, so it had no protection. So I had to bend the crap out of it to get it to fit. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I wouldn't say it's a good fit. I got it to fit. I tend to spend a bit of time messing about, benting things and trimming things and grinding bits down to get it to fit nice onto the body. Spare wheels. I have a spare wheel at the back, and as you see, a spare wheel on the bonnet as well. They are actually wheels that I did have fitted to this, so I already had these wheels. I went round all the windows and removed the little uh, spuds. There was the way these windows fit. There was a pin on the glass, and then there was a bit protruded out that the pin went through. So it looked sort of, you could see, where the window attached. So I took all the windows out, ground away the little spud. I took the pins off all the windows and in the back windows too, and then just glued the windows in. So that helped add a bit of realism just by removing them so they weren't as noticeable. I have side steps fitted, or they could be called rock sliders, but they actually just attach to the body. And I bought a set of rubber mirrors. The mirrors that were on this were hard plastic and they had both snapped. So I got these, came all the way from, I think it was Poland or Germany or somewhere. Some guy does loads of rubber stuff, so I bought a set of them. And so far they're holding up really well, nice and flexible. This is the rear bumper that I had fitted to it. This is actually a stock rear bumper from an FTX Outback, but it fits really well to the body of the Land Rover, so I just kept it. I bought a little tow hitch. It has a little chain holding the pin in, a little bit of rope to add a bit of scale realism. I put a crack in that window and a hole. My back window has a couple of bullet holes in it, which I did with the Dremel. I got a aluminium Land Rover badge. That was really nice quality, that piece there. I have a whip antenna just attached to the bumper here, and I also got a aluminium printed number plate. I do have a front one as well, but there's nowhere really to put it on the front, so it just stuck with the back one. So the significance of this number plate, CIB 1770, is actually the number plate from my parents' first car, which was a Vauxhall Chevette, 1970 something Vauxhall Chevette, which was not a dissimilar green to the colour of this. So it's one of the few number plates that I remember from all the cars I've had over the years. That one has always stuck with me. So I have used it a couple of times in racing games, when games that allow you to personalise your number plate. I would always have that as my number plate. So it was a no-brainer to stick it on the Land Rover. I added a load of stuff to the roof rack, as you can see. It's all very lightweight. This large piece at the front here is basically just foam with a piece of cloth around it. These are bits of canvas. This is sort of meant to be a canopy to pull out, but yeah, it's just a rolled up piece of canvas. This is balsa wood crate, a couple of other bits of foam, a couple of wrapped up bits of camouflage material, a 3D printed petrol can, jerry can, and then I have Aisha's chainsaw at the back here, a toolbox. This is actually a 3D printed Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead from the Evil Dead movies. Hopefully you can see that, it actually has a face on it. And that little doll there actually came with the Aish figure. So she attacks Aish in the first episode of Aish versus the Evil Dead. So she came along with the figure who's the driver. So I thought it was appropriate to put her in there as if she's haunting him. Probably the hardest part of this whole build was getting the body mounted. I didn't want pins obviously sticking up through the body, so we used magnet mounts. But that in itself was a whole kettle of fish, a whole can of worms that was opened. Uh, I used there's two magnets here if you can see them, and then there's two magnets here which are on the top of the shock towers, and they were fair enough. They screw in to two posts on the shock towers. These ones are glued straight to the chassis legs. I used two-part epoxy glue, which turned out to be really shit and it was too hard and brittle and it just kept coming off. There's the magnet mounts on the inside of the body there. As you can see, there's two magnets on each side just to space the body up to the right height. And then on the back I have two L brackets with the magnets glued again. And I wound up using Gorilla Glue. Yeah, the Gorilla Glue that expands the stuff you activate with water and expands. It's a bit like expanding foam. Seemed to be the best thing because it has a little bit of flex in it, so it has glued them on perfectly, but yet they haven't fallen off. All four with the epoxy glue, all four of the magnets come off at some stage or another, so the Gorilla Glue seems to have done a good job. I also upgraded the shocks. I have they're like ones with the extra reservoir on them. Now, again, these are cheap Chinese things. They're not proper reservoirs. They are full of oil. Is a hole that goes through in the reservoir, but there's no piston in the reservoir. But they're definitely a lot nicer than the shocks that were on the chassis when I got it. I found them to be very sticky, whereas these are nice and smooth and plush. So yeah, I think they were about 15 quid for the set of four shocks. So yeah, I was well happy with them. I may have to adjust the preload a little bit because the the body when you if you punch the throttle, it'll torque to the side. So I need to tighten them up a bit probably just to counteract that. I have a big bundle of wires here. This is all from all the lights. They're all wired into the receiver, and then I have an extra plug here which I have to plug into a wire coming off the body to get the lights on the body working. There's a closer look at the front bumper. Like I said, it has provisions for a winch. But I don't have a winch for it yet. I do plan on getting one at some stage. So that's where the winch would sit in there. So it's all ready to go. So super happy with it. I have spent a lot of money on it, but it is still a budget build. Everything on it is cheap. The wheels came from China. I think they were 25 quid for the four. The tires came along with the foams. Again, they came from China. The tires I'm well happy with. Like I said, I need to upgrade the foams. The shocks were super cheap. The front bumper was super cheap. So yeah, done on the cheap, but looks apart and it seems to go well. I haven't drove it really in serious anger yet, but I have been driving it. It has been out. It's been no means shelf queen. So fitting the body, because of the magnets, is just a case of drop the back on first and then drop the front down. Give it a bit of a wiggle, make sure they're all connected, and that's it. And to change the battery, I don't even have to take the whole body off. I can just pull the front up, support it with my hand where to get at the battery. Obviously it's easier to take the battery off, but it can be done, and getting at the wires and stuff can be done. So all that probably needs a bit of a tidy up, but it'll do for now. It's pretty well hidden when the body's on, and it doesn't fall out or anything, so more than happy with that. So ice is permanently fitted to the interior here. I can no longer get them out without pulling everything apart. The seats and all are all glued in, and ice is glued into the seat. So I will grab the camera and try my best. I have an interior light. I put in a single LED on the roof just to illuminate inside. Just to put a lot of work into the interior. It's still not 100% finished, but I wanted to be able to show it off. So I still have to put a floor in here. As you can see all the wires and stuff. So I need to put something in there to cover that up. I do have a bit of a floor put on the other side to hide Aisha's feet. So I have a machine gun here on the passenger seat. I have a load of drink bottles, cigarette packets, stuff like that in the center console. I fitted put a little map on the dashboard there. I know it's quite hard to see, but yeah, just and a can of beer in the glove box. I also have some dice hanging from the mirror. I made those are just 2 little bits of wood with the numbers drilled into it, really, with the Dremel. So yeah, I like that little touch there. And Ice is wearing his CB headset, and that wire there is leading up to the single LED. I do have to do something with that, hide it a bit. And if you can see there's a GoPro on his dashboard. They actually came with I bought a front bumper for my Element Sendero, so yeah, they came along with that. So, if I can get it to focus. So yeah, has a little GoPro sitting on the dashboard, and I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it has a GoPro mounted on the back of the truck too, above the back doors. So they were just plain black. I painted them up, and they look super cool. Really happy with those. So he's making his own adventure videos as he drives along. So that's about it for now. I think I've covered everything briefly. I didn't want the video being 2 hours long, going into detail about everything. But I'm really happy. If you have spotted something and you have any questions, please let me know. So things to do, definitely the first thing is the tire foams. Winch. I'd like to put some sort of interior in the back, because you can look up through the back of it and see out the windscreen. So I want to put even a piece of card or something across the back of it here in the inside to block the light, so you can't see right through it. Mud flaps. I'd like to get a set of mud flaps for probably just the back. And I'm considering buying a sound kit for it. One of the ESS Plus or ESS Dual sound kits, but that'll be a bigger purchase. So that'll be sometime in the future. So if I have anything else, if I do anything else to this, I'll probably make another video at some stage. But for now, it's 99% finished, 97% finished. But with like most builds, it's never really ever finished. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. I hope you managed to get through all that without getting too bored. Please drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.